All right, so today we're going deep into self-help books.
Yeah.
But not just like reading them.
Right.
We're gonna like look at how they're made.
Yes, exactly. Like, what are the formulas and the tropes that kind of make this whole genre work?
So think of it like we're going behind the scenes. We
Mm.
have this really cool Reddit infographic
Yes.
called The Self-Help Book Summarized.
Yeah, it was made by a user named Autistic Workaholic,
Oh, wow.
and they were actually inspired by a podcast called If Books Could Kill
Interesting.
to create this cheat sheet for decoding like all the self-help stuff.
Okay, cool. So imagine you're like in the bookstore
Yes.
and you're in that self-help aisle
Right.
and there's just like a gazillion books,
So many.
all promising to fix all your problems.
Yeah.
This is going to help you understand all that.
And it all starts with a very specific technique
Oh, yeah.
that we see over and over again.
Anecdotes.
Yeah.
Like Dave, the 32-year-old accountant.
Right, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? Dave has the same problem you do.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. It's amazing.
Even Mrs. Wildcardovich.
Yes, Mrs. Wildcardovich, who is 126 years old,
126.
also has the same problem.
I mean, who knew that a 126-year-old
Right,
would be struggling with the same things I am?
exactly. But, you know, there's a reason they do this.
Oh, yeah. Why all the anecdotes?
Well, they're trying to make you feel connected to the book.
Okay.
Like, hey, I understand you. You know,
Like they get me.
they get you. They've been there and they're here to help.
But isn't that kind of manipulative?
Oh, absolutely it is.
Like they're just trying to make me trust them.
Right. It's about building that credibility.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to remember, these stories are often like picked very carefully
Okay.
to fit what the author's trying to say.
So they might not be the whole truth.
They might be based on real people, but simplified or, you know, exaggerated a little.
To get the point across.
Exactly.
So, okay, we're feeling connected.
Yes.
We trust the author. What happens next?
Well, then it gets a little bit darker.
Oh.
We call this the scapegoating phase.
Scapegoating.
Yeah, this is where the author's going to tell you exactly what the one cause of all your problems is.
Oh, so like it's your childhood?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's your childhood, or you just don't have enough willpower.
Oh, or like you're not manifesting hard enough.
Yes, or you're not drinking enough water.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
But the problem is, it's never that simple.
Right. Life is complicated.
Life is very complicated.
Yeah.
And to say that there's just this one very specific reason for everything is very misleading.
And probably wrong.
And it can actually be harmful.
Okay. So how is that harmful?
Well, first of all, it ignores just how complex we are as humans.
Right. We're not robots.
We're not robots. We're not programmed by just one event.
Right.
And it can make people feel really guilty.
It's my fault.
Yes, it's like, it's all my fault. And then you feel hopeless.
So we've got the relatable anecdotes. We've got the scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get a solution now?
Not so fast.
What else is there?
There's a whole lot of what we call waffling.
Waffling?
Yeah.
Okay, so like they can't make up their minds.
No, not like that.
Okay.
It's more like they keep talking about that one reason,
Okay.
like over and over again.
Oh, so they're just like really trying to convince us?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're hammering it home.
This is the problem.
This is the problem, and they're going to say it in a lot of different ways.
Oh, okay.
You know, those chapters that are just like, your inner child is wounded.
Right.
Or, you know, society is holding you back.
Okay.
That's the waffling.
So they build trust with the anecdotes.
Yes.
Then they tell us what the problem is, and then they just keep talking about the problem.
They spend so much time on that.
Okay.
And it actually feeds into something called confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
I think so.
It's like when we only look for information that agrees with what we already believe.
Oh, okay.
So the more you hear this author talking about this one reason for your problems,
Right.
the more you start to think, oh yeah, that must be it.
Even if it's not.
Even if it's not really the whole story.
So it's like they're creating this echo chamber.
Exactly.
And at this point, we're ready for the solution.
Yes, you're primed for it.
We've been on this journey.
Yes,
We know what the enemy is. Now we need the hero to come save us.
exactly. And that brings us to phase 4.
Oh.
We call this the Nike slogan.
The Nike slogan. What is that?
You know, just do it.
Oh, like just fix it.
Yeah, this is where they finally tell you what to do. And it always sounds so simple.
Like just wake up earlier.
Yes, just wake up earlier, think positive,
Cut out sugar?
cut out sugar.
Oh, yeah. All the good stuff.
The infographic even has some funny ones like, just pretend it's a gnome in your head that wants to be unproductive. Or like, just scream into your pillow for 5 minutes every morning.
Okay, those are hilarious.
Right.
But I guess it shows you that a lot of these books,
Yeah.
they oversimplify things.
They make it sound so easy.
Like, just Do this one thing and your life will be perfect.
Right. And of course, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So then people try it and it doesn't work. And they think, oh, it's my fault.
Like I'm the failure.
Yes. And it takes us right back to that scapegoating.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is.
So is there ever anything good in these books?
You know, there is. Sometimes.
Really?
You get a little glimmer of something good, something real.
Okay.
We call it a sudden nugget of wisdom.
A nugget of wisdom.
Yes.
That's that.
It's like they suddenly say something that is actually helpful and insightful.
Oh, that's cool.
And it feels real. You know, like they're actually trying to help.
So what kind of things do they say?
Well, the infographic gives some examples.
Okay.
Like one is about putting coconut oil in your coffee
Okay.
to help you focus better.
Interesting.
And another one is about getting regular thyroid screenings.
Oh, wow.
Especially if it runs in your family.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Right. One is just like a trendy health thing.
Yeah.
And the other one could actually save your life.
Yeah, you're right.
So those nuggets of wisdom, they really stand out.
They're the real deal.
They're the real deal.
Okay, so we've got the anecdotes. We've got someone to blame.
Yes.
We've got all this waffling.
Lots of waffling.
We've got the just do it solution.
Right.
And maybe a little bit of wisdom.
Maybe.
What happens next on this self-help roller coaster?
Oh, there's more.
Oh, no.
Tickle up.
All right. Okay, so we've gone through like the first 4 phases.
Mm-hmm.
The anecdotes, the blame, the waffling, the just do it.
Right.
But I'm guessing it doesn't just end there.
Oh, no, the story definitely continues.
What happens next?
Well, now we enter the phase of tying up the plot lines.
Tying up the plot lines.
Yes, remember all those characters for the beginning?
Like Dave?
Linda, Mrs. Welkardovich.
Right.
Guess what?
What?
All their problems are solved.
Just like that.
Pretty much, it's a very neat and tidy ending.
So Dave finally woke up early.
Yes, Dave woke up early, got his dream job.
And Linda.
Linda did all the positive affirmations.
Of course.
And she's prom queen now.
Wow, and what about Mrs. Wildcardovich?
Well, she found mindfulness.
Okay.
And finally finished that knitting project.
That she started like 100 years ago?
Exactly.
But I mean, come on, that's not realistic.
No, it's not realistic at all. And that's kind of the problem.
What's wrong with a happy ending?
Well, it gives people this false sense of hope.
Okay.
In real life, things don't just magically get better overnight.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of hard work. There are setbacks. There are, things you have to adjust.
It's messy.
It's very messy. But these books, they don't show you any of that.
So it's like they're just showing us the highlight reel?
Exactly, the highlight reel of self-improvement.
But not the behind the scenes.
No, not the real struggle.
So then what happens when people try to follow these books?
Well, they hit a roadblock.
Right.
And they think, wait a minute, Dave did it. Why can't I?
And then they feel bad about themselves.
Yeah, it reinforces that feeling of inadequacy.
Like, I'm not good enough.
Exactly.
So it's not just that the solution is too simple. Right.
They're also lying about how easy the journey is.
They're definitely sugarcoating it.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Well, this brings us to the grand finale.
Oh, the grand finale.
Phase 6.
Okay.
We call this like, subscribe, get your free worksheet.
The call to action.
Yes, this is where they really sell you on the whole thing.
Like buy my other books.
Yes, buy more books, go to my seminars, join my online community.
They want you to buy into their whole lifestyle.
Exactly. It's not just a book anymore. It's a whole empire.
A self-help empire.
Yes. And the infographic points out something really interesting.
Oh, what's that?
People often recommend these books, even if they haven't actually used the advice themselves.
Really?
Yeah, they get caught up in the hype.
They just want that quick fix.
Exactly. They want the easy solution.
Well, we know it's not that easy.
We know it's not, but we still want to believe it.
Right, because who doesn't want a quick fix?
It'd be so nice.
Yeah, but self-improvement is a lifelong thing.
It is. It's a journey.
Not a destination.
Exactly. Okay, so we've gone through all 6 phases.
We have?
The anecdotes, the blame, the waffling, the just do it, the happy ending, and the call to action.
It's quite a ride.
So what does this all mean?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Like, how do we read these books without falling for all these tricks?
That's what we need to figure out.
Is there a way to do that?
Oh, there is. We just need to become more discerning readers.
Discerning read. Okay, I like that. Tell me more. So we talked about the formulas. We talked about thinking critically and how these books are like tools, not magic wands.
Right.
What's the missing piece?
Well, I think one thing we haven't really talked about is that self-help is so focused on you.
On me.
Yeah, like it's all about changing yourself, your habits, your mindset.
Okay.
But it kind of forgets about all the other stuff that affects you.
Like what kind of stuff?
Like the big stuff, the systems we live in, the pressures from society.
So it's like they expect us to just like willpower our way through everything.
It can feel that way, right?
Yeah.
But our lives are complicated.
Super complicated.
And there's all these things we can't control.
Like what?
Well, think about it like your money situation.
Okay.
Or like what kind of resources you have access to.
Yeah.
Your culture, your background, have you experienced discrimination?
Right.
All of that stuff makes a huge difference.
So it's like we're all running a race, but we don't all start at the same place.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of these books don't talk about.
And that's a problem.
It is, because then it starts to feel like if you're not successful, it's your fault.
Like you didn't try hard enough.
Exactly. And that's just not fair.
Right. There are so many things that are out of our control.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that even though we can work on ourselves, we can also work on changing the systems.
So it's both.
It's both working on yourself and working on making the world a better place.
They go together.
They do.
Yeah.
When we understand why things are unfair, we can help those who need it most.
And make things more just for everyone. This is making me think about self-help differently.
Yeah.
It's not just about me, it's about us.
It is. It's about individual transformation and social transformation.
I like that.
I think it's a really important thing to remember.
Okay, so we've talked about the formulas in these books. We talked about being critical and remembering that they're tools.
Yes.
And now we're talking about the bigger picture.
The big picture.
But, you know, I still like reading those books.
Oh, yeah.
Those catchy titles still get me every time.
I get it. They're appealing.
Is that bad?
No, not at all. They tap into something we all want.
Like what?
Like wanting to grow and connect and find meaning.
Yeah.
And sometimes a good story or a simple message can really inspire you.
That's true.
The key is to be a little skeptical.
Okay.
And remember that real change doesn't happen overnight.
It's a process.
It is, and it takes effort, and sometimes you need help.
So it's about balance.
Balance is key.
Be excited about growing, but also be aware of the traps.
Exactly.
This has been such a good deep dive.
It has.
We covered so much, the formulas, the psychology, even the ethics of it all.
And some new ways to think about self-improvement.
Yeah. So what are your final words of wisdom?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that self-help is a lot more than just those formulaic books.
Okay.
It's about understanding yourself, becoming more resilient, finding your purpose, living authentically.
Wow.
And we can learn from so many places.
Like where?
Psychology, philosophy, spirituality, even just our own lives.
So don't be afraid to explore.
Explore, be open to new ideas, and trust yourself.
Love it.
And remember, it's not about being perfect.
It's about being better.
Exactly the best version of you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of self-help.
My pleasure.
We hope this episode has given you a lot to think about and helped you see this genre in a new light.
Absolutely.
And remember, be critical, be open-minded, and most importantly, be kind to yourself.
Always.
Thanks for listening.